no bunny ears today because I am that lazy. I have not been sleeping well. I have not been eating properly. I don't know how I'm awake doing this with you. I have no idea. But here we are. We need to talk. I am legacy lives on. Like, I'm sensing a lack of object permanence is what I'm hearing. That's weird. A lack of object permanence. 3 more. Okay, so I went on a ride today with my grandma. And I saw one of these, and I noticed as I was turning, I was driving past it, and I was actually making a right turn, and it was on the curb on the right-hand side. And as I was looking at it, it kept, like, hopping away from me. It was almost like it didn't want me to see its face. And I'm like, so I'm turning, and it's like, it just so happens that, like, it's not pecking around. I can't see its face. I caught, like, the profile on the initial turn, realizing it was there, but then it just kept, like, moving away from me. Like, it was just its back. Rise. Legacy lives on, rise. It's like there's this, for everything, a season. Animals can be significant. Spirit animals can be significant. It's like you're being watched, you're being protected. We are grains of sand. There's object permanence struggling. Struggling with object permanence is what I'm hearing. It's very like when you realize, I'm not making this up, when you realize that, like, eventually this is what happens. And it's interesting because, like, why am I going through this right now, bro? Feed the future. So another, like, you've got to put, it's a 7-card pull, rewind and reset. So, like, it's gonna be hard, whatever it is that you're struggling with. It's gonna be hard, but in the way that is, like, I feel, and it's like one wing is white, the other is black. Very, like, balanced energy. Is like, it doesn't mean it's not dark, it's not night, it's not decay. It's still very, like, there's a flow, there's a lot of water energy, there's a lot of rebirth and floral energy, with lots and lots and lots of flowers. Making this up right here, as you can see, like, all of this bouquet stuff. There's lots of growth and rebirth, lots of beauty in the growth and rebirth process. And the struggle is just sitting still with the fact that, like, shit be going bye-bye. We are grains of sand. It's like, I'm sensing you're grieving. Ugh, grief is hard. You know, I feel like I'm right there with you. I don't know that I'm speaking to, I think, you know, I've been getting the romance thing, and it's like a lot of this heavy both energy on this channel. It's both, and it's in addition to, it's not just like you're down one path or another path. It's like all of your roads are diverging in really big, intense ways. And they're diverging in really big ways. And so, like, some of you is going here, some of you is going there. It was actually in reverse, and I'm going to honor that. 7 of Cups in reverse. It's like what I'm noticing, I'm not going to use that. What I'm noticing here is like you're both grieving and growing. You are both in a state of like decay and also in a state of birthing and rebirthing. Like something is growing inside of you as you are experiencing some form of loss. Seven of Cups is a powerful wake-up call to trade fantasy for reality. While the upright card represents daydreaming and overwhelming choices, the reversal means your illusions are clearing and it's time to stop procrastinating, confront the truth of your situation, and take practical action. So, yeah, it's almost like you can't sit here and think about all that could have been. You can't sit here and reminisce about what was. You can't just stay there in the reminiscence space. In certain areas, you just gotta, like, you can't be pissed off that someone wasted your fucking time. Ace of Swords. You can't, there's no need to be sitting with it for fucking ever. Like, you have things that you need to be doing, and so you have things you need to be doing. I keep saying that because, okay, swords aren't blunt tools of war, but delicate instruments for inward journey. One must learn to wield them skillfully if one is to rise above the confusion of the world. They are instruments of Logos, the spiritual force of divine reason that is ever present and immensely powerful, if only we know how to look for it. If we wield them correctly, they can open up gates of perception within ourselves and cut the Gordian knots of our earthly burdens. They can be fickle, troublesome, even painful, but can guide us to breathtaking heights of clarity. For this one, it's the power of intellect. Aces are symbols of potential, and the Ace of Swords is the potential of divine intellect. So, like, you are having to use what you've picked up on in the divine realm in practical ways. And you are also needing to grieve, and you are also needing to birth during that time. Our intellect is an active power that we can wield, reaching upward to the heavens. It is also receptive, since it connects to and is reliant upon our five senses. Armed with our massive senses and active reasoning, intellect allows us to connect to the heavens and pierce the veils of confusion obscuring reality. This allows us to walk a path of disinterested logic, cutting away the extraneous. It's a path that narrows as it goes from more to less, that we can walk in order to touch the expansive divine. This difficult path is symbolized by the holy mountain on this card. Every time I see the Ace of Swords, and especially in this deck, I think mountaintop, I think God's law, I think Sinai, I think burning bush, I think, like, going to the mountain to be alone with the divine, and, like, I think 40-day fast, I think, like, ultimate secrets of the universe download type stuff, and you are needing to be using that in your reality, and it can't just be all in here. It's like I'm sensing like a writer that needs to actually write it down. Like, I know that it's all in here and it's a great story, but you need to be writing that shit down. I'm talking to musicians, I'm talking to artists. Like, I know that you have the idea in your head and you're relying on your brain to just keep track of it, but like, you need to get it out. This allows us, armed with our passive senses and active reasoning, intellect shows us to connect to the heavens. This difficult path is symbolized by the holy mountain on this card. The winding path upward mirrors the difficult journey towards self-enlightenment. By grasping the sword, we make a clear decision and take our first step down this road. So I'm sensing that we're in a place where, I'm sensing the collective is in this place where you are needing to do it all at the same time. And this one wanted to flip out. Four of Swords. There's a lot of bullshit. And the divine keeps making it very clear that it's like you need to make it very, very clear, or it's needing to be made very clear to you that, like, both of these things can be true at the same time. All of these experiences you're feeling, whether it's, I feel like there's heavy conflict energy. It feels like you are having to really navigate a conflict. I don't know if it's relatives. I'm sensing there's relatives. I'm sensing there's partners and romantic interests that are going sideways. I'm sensing it's coworkers. I'm sensing business related issues. I'm sensing a lot of like conflict around like basic human decency type shit. And, you know, you are allowed to grieve that loss. Like, some people do enter into our lives simply because they want to take, and it's all they know how to do. And it is not your job to be their lesson in learning how to be a decent human being. Like, it's not your job, and you're having to relearn what priorities really are. And so I'm like, I think it's interesting because, like, you're in this spot where you can, the practical spirit, after the rash action of the Three of Swords, we must regroup and take stock. This means using the practical side of divine intellect to engineer, invent, and marshal resources. What did I say? So you're going to have to be, like, working on your art, working on your passions, working on the things that bring you joy and excitement and interest, while you're also, like, having to really embrace some form of death. Whether it is the ego that you're wrestling with within you, whether it is the ego of others that you're wrestling against, whatever that is. The Four of Swords are laid as though in a weapon rack, organized and ready, but the stable and material qualities of the Four of Swords is dangerous. It could be a dead end, like a tool case that is highly organized but never opened. Constrained by practical thinking, our intellect can become grounded and incapable of making intuitive leaps to other ideas or planes of existence. So, like, if you're rooted in one and not the other, I'm hearing, like, some of you are needing to be rooted in the part of you that is defensive of the self, no more people pleasing, and some of you are going to have to be in a place where you are actually taking care of yourself by advocating and not waiting around for others. Every time I see a blackbird of any kind, especially a crow or a raven, it's definitely like Balhaman energy, Saturn Kronos energy, like, and it's interesting because, like, even though, like, someone that traumatized me is deeply associates themselves with that energy, like, that energy has been deep within, my own heritage for generations, and so it's not something that I cherry picked. It's something that is part of my lineage. And so, sometimes you find familiarity in places and it feels like it's, a good match, but every time I see it's every time I see a blackbird, it means intuitive downloads between others that are tethering themselves to things, and that doesn't necessarily mean the tethering isn't toxic. And so it's like, I see crows and ravens as divine protection for my life, but also like an omen that, like, there is decay nearby. They're very intelligent and they know about decay. They are also scavengers. And so, like, even in this one, like, the light and dark side, like, rising, so this feels more of a protection, and cosmic download message. But for some of you, this also may mean like reaping, harvesting. It could come with like heavy, like late stage Odin energy. It could mean like, it could be for some of you related to the return, the rise and return aspect of things. Constrained by practical thinking, our intellect can become grounded and incapable of making intuitive leaps to other ideas or planes of existence. Honestly, it's late, and it sounds like, for me, it's fresh 1 a.m. And we've been doing this for 15 minutes, and I can already tell, like, I see you sitting by the table, pontificating and whatnot. And it's not that you cannot do that, it's that you have to do that and take care of your physical form. Like, no matter what is going on, it feels like the divine is like, you have to do all of it. You have to take care of all of it. You have to grieve, and you're going to endure sleepless nights. You are also going to replenish, feel joy, and get really good replenishing sleep. And you have to be able to roll with those punches, because that is you experiencing certain parts of the living experience that a lot of people are not prepared for. And a lot of the reason why is because of an ego that steps in and robs you of opportunities that you may be afraid of at first. I think a lot of times, like, death is scary. You hear swords, you hear reverse, you hear skeletons and death and decay, and you hear those words, and you immediately think like, oh, I have to, this is a scary thing, this is a bad thing, this is a terrible thing. And you miss the part of, swords being, what did they say? I liked the way they worded the swords in this deck. I like that, yes, they are instruments, or they're not blunt tools of war, but delicate instruments for inward journey, instruments for our inward journey. So, like, you could use them for war, and you could, take what you're learning and cut away at things, but the sword in this space, on the mountaintop, lots of like star energy, like cosmic energy, stars being a form of a sun, so a lot of sun and fire energy. Like, they're not just for, I think about, if you're into anime at all, I think about Roni Kenshin and the Kamiya Kashin school, I think is what they called it. And girl was like, her dad was like, no, we use our swords to help people, we use our power for the betterment of mankind. And like, yeah, Kenshin had to show up and be like, listen, it's cute that you think that, but they were designed for murder. But he also moved in and chose to teach that, because he fundamentally believes like, we can't have the better world if we're not fighting for the better world. We can't have this mindset as the standard if we're not actively contributing to that work being the standard. So if we're going around making excuses for why people get to just run around in the street and kill people and do all kinds of like horrible things and cause harm to the world, then like, we're not doing our jobs as people who believe in a better world and also have to hold the line. And so there's just, it's like you've been given the responsibility, I'm hearing, of knowing intimately the cost and having the wisdom to navigate that level of power. And so we hear reverse, and it means, we sometimes, like, if you don't like really understand, like, it sounds like, upside down sounds like a bad thing. Like, my world flipped upside down, like something in reverse means something awful. Like, no, sometimes something worse, or sometimes something in reverse means the antithesis of like the problem or the issue that could have arose if we didn't have a different perspective. This last card here, 5 of Cups, it was flipped over when I was like checking, I was like, kind of playing with it, and I saw that it had flipped over and I didn't even notice, so I'm gonna honor that. Oh my gosh, it was a 4 and it was the 4 of Swords, and now we're at the 5 of Cups. Following the call. Sometimes it is time to move on. The 5 of Cups signals we should bring forth something new because old patterns are no longer serving us. What did I say? This is like, yes, you want to be here, but you need to be in all those places, and you need to be able to feel those feelings. Oh, wow. And you gotta be like, you have to move. You have to, yeah, feed the future. You have to move on. That's part of the moving on process, is what I'm hearing. It's like, you know that you need to move on. Some of you are probably really frustrated that it doesn't feel like you're moving on because you are revisiting a lot of this pain, or a lot of this like stress, or even a lot of this like, spiral into joy and gratitude despite the hardship. Like, you want to just be like so numb, and that's not how humanity works. That's not how humanity heals. All three aspects of love, body, mind, and soul, together form a complete energizing union. This ideal form suggests that our state of love has attained perfection. But while this conclusion is compelling, it is not the end of our journey, and the inverted sixth cup betrays this seemingly perfect vision. I'm reading the wrong thing. No, sometimes it's time to move on. The Five of Cups signals we should bring forth something new because old patterns no longer serve us. I was reading it and I'm like, wait, this doesn't sound like we're having the same conversation anymore. The spilled cup at the bottom stands for a mishap or a squandered opportunity. See, I'm getting all mixed up. That's crazy. But this setback is a signal that it's time for something new, an opportunity for a new ingredient, a new path that can be taken. See, what was I saying? Your paths are converging, and sometimes those paths break off into other little paths. Leaving behind the old might have traditionally been considered an act of temptation, even something sinister, but we must look past those dualistic struggles. And that's why I keep saying duality. The decay and the bouquet. The decay bouquet, whatever. That's a cool name. I would name a band Decay Bouquet. Who wants to start a band? This fifth cup might not mean the end of this love, but its transformation into a higher level, a path of knowledge and realization. Like everything new, change can be destructive, hence the spilled cup at the card's bottom. But it is the only way to maintain the flow of life, yeah. Whatever is disrupting you, whatever is like freaking you the hell out, whatever it is that you are feeling, you are being asked to be really fluid about the way that you relate to everything. You're being asked to be really, really fluid about the way that you handle everything. Sarala Kali from the African Goddess Rising deck, Divine Lineage. So you come from a divine lineage, you know this stuff, you know how this works. And Temple of Ancestors, Element of Water. Just Element of Water? What did I say? There's a lot of fluid energy. Like, a lot of... we're at a beach. A lot of water energy, I felt. A lot of water energy. A lot of, like, fluidity. Great ancestor Sarah Lakali, meaning Sarah the Black, was an Egyptian prophetess and the patron saint of the Romani people. Oral history says that Sante Sara had the highest divine lineage. Your ancestors protect the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is you. Divine ones walk beside and within you. Trust. Your ancestors want to remind you that you are not alone. They are rooting for you. They ask you to honor your spirit guides and call upon the power of the divine. Create or nourish your ancestral altar or shrine. Unbury your ancestors. Speak their names. Your divine lineage ancestors may be blood related or culturally or spiritually connected. So some of you are doing ancestor work. Me too. I've paused it while being here with Grandma, but like some of you are either doing ancestor work, are in a closed practice, either religion or spiritual path, or a relatively like niche practice. Chaos magic could be significant. The declaration is, I am my sister and my sister is me. I hope this resonates. Bye.